Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. My name is Dan O'Brien. I'm a senior partner here at ActionCOACH in Central Texas. And today I'm sitting down with William Haas, who is the owner of WoodFellows Renovations. And we are going to be chatting about some business, about entrepreneurship, about just the journey into what it's like to build and operate a business. So excited to be sitting down. William, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me and just kind of chat through a few things today. Just to get us started, I'd love to just kind of hear a little bit of background. Give us the 10,000-foot view of, who you are and tell us a little bit about Woodfellows Renovation.
I appreciate the time, Henry. So about me, I'm been in the business of construction, like renovations in many different facets for the last 20 years. In between that time, I also had a stint in the military, which just told the leadership side of we can get into later with the entrepreneur side of that. But many different facets with WoodFellows. I've been a risk manager, energy inspector, project manager for some other bigger, larger renovations and home builders. And now I'm here in the Austin area building homes and renovating homes for some of my fantastic clients.
Fantastic. So I always like to set the stage for our viewers. We talked to a lot of different types of businesses and different structures of business and things like that here on the podcast. So I always like to set the stage. What does current ownership kind of structure look like for you? And by this I mean, like, you the sole founder owner of the company? Do you have business partners? At a point where you've had outside investors? Kind of just generally speaking, what does that look like for your business?
It's kind of that's an interesting question, actually, because it started off with just me by myself doing something that I went back to. I was in another class and I had to get out of, and now I got back into construction. And at that point, my father-in-law came along. He was retiring, and he's like, "Hey, let's partner up, and you can do the renovations, and we can start building businesses and all that." But here about a year ago, he decided he wanted to retire. So about a year ago, he got out of it, and he was kind of the investor, and then bought him out. He moved out, and so now it's just me. And technically, I do have a partner. I think any married person does, and that's my wife, Kelly. So she's always in the background, back in, helping me, supporting me. I mean, materials, helping with books, calling people, like in so many different facets. It's a very non-glamorous, unpaid internship for
her. I love that. And yes, I would probably agree with you. For most of us out there, if we're in business, regardless if it's technically on paper or not, there's usually another business partner in there. So I love that. So I'm curious for you, as you've kind of gone through and built the business and where you're at today. What is your current role within the business? Do you wear several different hats still? Have you been able to take some of the hats off and give it to somebody else at this point? Kind of what role do you currently play in the business today?
Currently, I'm this CEO, project manager, and I'm trying to move away from the office management side. My wife has really taken over that role to kind of help that specifically. And I used to do a lot of the designs and drawings, but honestly, I subbed that out. Now I've learned there's definitely pros and cons to my time, and some of those cons are the design side. That's not a thing I really got really jazzed about or super excited. It was just something I had to go through to be able to help clients envision what they're wanting to do. So now I sub that out, and I have two really great designers that I exclusively work with. And so on that side, that's mostly what I do. And then also have a couple good hands that help me out. And then everything else is really subbed out. My bookkeeping subbed out. I have somebody that does my bookkeeping, accounting, use the CRM, build a trend to help with our management for client relations and keep budget and all that together. And so mostly it's trying to be as small and have as little a footprint right now until honestly I feel more confident that footprint is ready to grow.
Very cool. Do you experience any challenges when you went to starting to, sub some of this out, being able to I don't know, give up a little bit of control? Was there any issues for that for you, or was that pretty easy to make some of those adjustments and start handing off different pieces of of the operations of the business?
Honestly, Tanner, I think I'm still having a hard time with that absolutely at the moment because I'm here now, at my renovation, having waiting, sitting with my subs because those are honestly, that's what I really mostly enjoy is not just being a leader within my business, but being a leader and helping those that are around me that I work with. And so
Mm.
honestly, I don't know if I'll ever be hands off on that, but of the management side, like the office stuff, kind of some of those emails and phone calls and the back end side of it. I've let some of that go. That was absolutely, I was begging somebody to take it. I don't think it was something I really didn't really care about. Out here in the field is where I really wanted to be. And so I'm still probably going to hold on to this for a while.
Fantastic. So I'd love to dive into kind of what makes your business so special, that sort of thing. So, the first question I have kind of around this is I always like to ask around kind of who your primary market is or target market is, and kind of the best way I like to frame this is if I'm in the audience and I'm watching this, I'm listening to this later on. How would I know that either I'm a good fit or I might know somebody who's a good fit to come work with y'all?
Yeah. This has been a question that we've been working through with our own marketing and trying to dial in to who's the best fit for us. I mean, and it's my wife, who's also, she owns her own business and she has a hair salon that she does part time. She's really helped dial that in. And it's like knowing the right age group. And right now, I think our target market for what the ones I work with is definitely between like 35 and 60 age group. Um, Younger first-time home buyers who want a renovation to help them, increase ROI and increase their experience, but also the other flip side is retirees who are now kind of in their forever home and being able to help them like envision what life will look like for now till 15, 20 years and making those right decisions and the renovations there. And then just lately has it been second time, third time home buyers looking at also building their own home. And so
Hmm.
there's bigger companies, and then just because we're so small, our biggest deal is our relational. We're very relational people. So it's always phone calls, we barbecues and having those type of relationships with our clients. It just seems to progress that way.
I love that. That was going to be kind of my next question, especially in a market like Central Texas. How do you stand out against your competitors? Why do your clients choose you? Outside of just the relationship piece, are there additional factors to that, or is it primarily the relationship aspect that really stands apart for you at this point?
Yeah, definitely the relationship aspect. Part, and I mean, this caveat's really into what our marketing strategy is, which is my marketing strategy. My wife is kind of like taking over and we're updating and kind of evolving into that. But mostly it's been relationally meeting realtors, meeting other builders, meeting a lot of different subs. And because of those relations, that's where a majority of our leads, a majority of our other jobs, they come from that. Because it's really hard to sell integrity. It's hard to sell honesty. It's hard to sell these things when everybody's saying it. But it's a lot easier when somebody you already know has integrity, already know is honest and is doing great work for you, and they recommend that person.
Hmm.
And so, because the Austin market where we're at is growing so fast, the realtors, honestly, for me, are the ones the biggest turn because realtors are technically the first person most people are really getting to know relationally. And they're like, hey, who can come and redo this bathroom? Who would you turn to? I just need some siding fixed on the house. I want to change the colors. Who would you turn to? Typically, honestly, a lot of the time it is the realtor, their realtor that they're working with getting their home. So I spend time trying to build those relationships with the realtors that are around me, meeting new realtors and being a help to them as much as I possibly can.
Hmm.
There's a lot of them, and some of them don't know everything, and so they turn to those that can help them in this aspect. I'm trying to be that person.
That's fantastic. And that, I mean, I love asking questions around just marketing in general, because I know that for many businesses out there, especially we'll call them newer, younger businesses that maybe haven't had a huge background in marketing. Marketing tends to be an area that we know is vital, but it can be an area that's a bit of a stumbling block. So I always like to just kind of ask some questions around there, and I love what you've shared so far. It sounds like a big philosophy is referral or strategic partners that kind of align with what you do that can make those types of connections. What other ways do y'all kind of put together at this point? What other strategies do you use to generate interest or just get your name out there or bring in leads or anything like that? Kind of what additional areas do you use for marketing at this point?
Use radio. I've been doing radio for about a year and a half, 2 years, and that's fun. I like it. It's not necessarily a big uh, lead generator, honestly, but it is a good talking point. So somebody's like, "Hey, I heard you on the radio the other day." I was like, "Oh, thanks. That's awesome." And it was like, and it just segues into other conversations. So I think that was the big point. Do some social media. We were doing a lot on Instagram and some on Facebook. We're just putting in posts. What are we doing? Kind of what's around. It's not really. It's more of like, hey, this is what we're doing today. This is what we're doing this week. It wasn't to me. It didn't seem as much of a lead generation opportunity, but it did bring a lot of people in to again bring in more conversations. Hey, why are
Hmm.
you doing it that way? Other builders, honestly, that's been a great caveat. Other builders have been doing. It's like, hey, I like what you're doing. Have you ever thought of this? Have you ever used this product? Some of that has also been a tremendous help on our business to keep very like aware of what's new and up to date now because it's changing very, very fast. It's changing all the time. And there's always something new that somebody can be able to put out. And that's part of it, I think, is being able to be that resource for our clients and other subs to be able to find what those products are that can help life and build a lot better home.
Mm. So have you found a solid way to track kind of the return on investment that you're getting in the marketing that you are putting out there?
No, now that we've moved into Builder Trend, there's a lot better opportunity there because of the website, lead generation and that. And so it just with that within the website or even in our Instagram post, somebody can get on there, put in a lead like, hey, I'd love, kind of fill in a very vague, renovation, something like that, but it fills it in. So at least I can cover it. I was working with House Pro in the construction industry, so it dealt a lot with my designers so they could turn to that and have great designs. It also had some of that as well. Um, those were the best leads, but anything from like radio and those mostly it's verbiage, and I'm not really honestly tracking that correctly as I should.
Gotcha. I love it. So we've talked a lot about kind of where business is today, kind of what makes you unique, all that kind of stuff. I want to take a step back and actually talk about this journey into starting the business, being a part of the business, all of that kind of stuff. But talk me through the choice to go into business for yourself. How did you make that decision? Was there a point where you're like, this is definitely the direction I need to go versus, working for somebody else or anything like that? Kind of what was that transition point like for you?
So honestly, it was out of necessity, technically. Like I was in the state trooper academy here in Texas, and I got injured. I got hurt, and I had to leave. And so I was putting all my eggs in that basket. That's what I've been training for and prepping for even before that. And so when I had to leave, now I had to go and now find a job. But I've been doing construction before, so I put my resumes out, and in that time, I put my resume out, but the deal was, it's like, okay, great, you're looking for a job. Hey, I do have a bathroom. You want to come look at this? Maybe you can take this over. Hey, we have cabinets. Would you be willing to like refinish these cabinets and help us with these? And it just segued very quickly into being my own business owner. Almost people begging, please just come work, and we'll while you're in between stuff, let's do that. And from that point, it's been nonstop.
Well, that's definitely a good problem to have when making a transition like that.
It was a little it was don't get me wrong, it was a little rough there for a month or two, but once that engine started moving, it hasn't slowed down.
That's fantastic. So I'm curious, in kind of this tenure of building and growing the business, and I'm sure there have been many, but what's like one or maybe two lessons that you've learned or had to learn along the way that have that has really helped you develop into what the business looks like today?
One is a book referral. I have a builder buddy, another person I worked for, who's in Dallas. They own a layer franchise. He runs a layer there in the Plano area, and he made a recommendation to me when I was getting out and coming back in. I called him up and I was like, "Hey, Chad, I need some guidance and some help." He was like, "Here, I want to give you a book." He goes, "I want you to read this book," and he goes, "and then we'll talk about it. And from that, I want to see where your heart sits." It was mostly a heart check, and it was called The Highest Calling. So The Highest Calling is a great book. It really deals with, like, I think it's the other book. I can't remember now, but very allegory for a renovation company and about the actual mindset and how to look at these aspects. And that has been pivotal on how I've developed the business and why I run the business the way I do, even as small as I do in certain aspects, because I've grown real big, and there was times that I had to scale back because I got too big and I was losing who I was and losing what I was actually doing. And so I think that was the biggest one, the biggest thing that helped in growing the business. And then the other was just being able to turn to people that I've worked with before, my other mentors, the guy who taught me right out of college how to like swing a hammer and use a miter saw. The guy that I worked with before who taught me how to like be personable and why building relationships and making people your people, how that leads to more work. Also fulfilling work. And then Chad, who taught me how to be a project manager and how to like, not waste my time doing things that are $10 an hour type of jobs, but doing the things that we're actually paying of what we're actually charging. So my mentors, all the guys that I've worked with, them honestly, they're even still in my life. I still talk to them. I have a job for one of them, and I have to go out of state to even do it, just because he's like, "Hey, I need your help." So it's been fantastic having these guys.
That's really cool. And the mentors, people to turn to, all that kind of stuff. The number of conversations I've had with business owners and those that have had, I don't know, maybe a little bit more success, almost always have people they've been able to turn to, mentors, colleagues, whatever it is, just people in their life to help them kind of be guided along the way, which is really cool. So, I'm curious, as you look forward to the next 3 to 5 years, what does the business look like for you? What are you most excited about in the business or in kind of your journey as a business owner? What does that look like as you fast forward into the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, we're currently building our first spec home, and so we're building a spec home right now, and it's been a long time coming, and I've been super excited. It's also in a very, very nervous time that a lot of people are looking at, but honestly, I am absolutely ecstatic about it. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of trials. It's been a lot of learning, but that I'm really excited about. I've built other homes for other people, but this is literally a WoodFellows home. We're the only ones there's no partners. We are the one doing it all. And so that's been, honestly, it's scary as I can get out, but it's also, I get pumped every single time I step onto that job site, every single time, picking up garbage, checking on jobs, delivering materials. Every time I'm out there, I'm excited. And that, I think, is where we're really moving towards, is more, everybody's like, pick the right kind of work. And it's not even the right kind of work. It's the right kind of feeling during it. And certain jobs bring that. And so right now, that's what we're really dialing up. What jobs really get me excited and make me excited to show up? Like even now, I'm working, great people that I'm working for. It's always been the people. The jobs, it seems the work's always the same, but it's the people that I do the work for that make all the difference in the world. Everything, like whether that day is like you're like, oh, I got to show up at this job, or you're like, man, I cannot wait to finish this for these people. They are absolutely fantastic. I hope I blow their mind. And so that has been the best. But with the spec home, it's me. I'm hoping I'm blowing my own mind. And so, and hope somebody else likes that as well, you know.
Oh man, that just sounds fun, and I can hear the excitement coming through, which is so cool. Well, we've certainly covered a lot of ground in the conversation so far today, and I want to be respectful of your time. So, I'd love to, let's shift over to some of these rapid fire questions. I'd love to kind of have in these interviews, and then we'll kind of wrap up with the final question here. So, top of head answer, kind of for each of these. I know we could go probably a little bit deeper on each one, but we'll do top head answers for these today. The first one here is, what's your key to success?
I think it's just faith, Tanner. It's just faith. Faith in the people around me, faith in myself, faith in those that care about me, and faith in the God that I know loves me.
Mm,
I think it's all comes down to that.
love that. What's one piece of advice you would give to other business owners?
I would say just because something is hard doesn't mean it's wrong. And just because something is easy doesn't mean it's right. I think that would be a good way, something that we all need to look at and reevaluate.
Mm, I love that. What is one book that either you're currently reading or have read most recently?
Now I got to remember the name of it. It was the one that I was going to explain to with the allegory for the highest calling. It's like the entrepreneur effect by, I can't remember his name right now. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But technically, because I travel so much, it's always on my Audible. So it's like the book I'm listening to, but I never listen to the author's name.
That's fair. That's fair. Final rapid fire question. I always love to ask this one. This is a fun one. If you had to choose just one area in your business that you could take a little bit of magic dust and just sprinkle it on and magically improve it overnight, where would you put that magic dust?
I would say my my CRM. I wish I could throw that on there and have that just running absolutely perfectly. That no emails get lost, no text messages, like, don't get sent, no phone call. Everything is working. We're all conversing in the same place and getting that completely set up, running off. I would say that would be the thing that I would absolutely scream pixie dust all over.
I love that. That is, man, when it comes to CRMs, they can work great. They take some time to get set up like really well to make sure it's all running perfectly and understanding it. So I can definitely empathize and understand with that one. Um, so I want to be respectful of time once again. Yeah, I've got, kind of the final question I want to come up here and ask you here. But before we do, for those that are watching, how can they, go and find more information? How can they connect with you? How can they see all the fun stuff that you're doing? Maybe see the progress on the spec home. What's the best way for the audience to keep abreast of what's going on over at the business?
Yep, the two best ways are our website, which is www.woodfellowsrenovations.com, or also on Instagram, which is also WoodFellows Renovations. And so both are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. They have my contact, but they're also, you get to see what we're doing now.
Very cool. For those that are watching, it'll be in the video description below. So once you're all, wrapped up listening to this amazing conversation, make sure you go and click those and give them a follow. Check out all the stuff on the website and reach out, say hi, that sort of thing. So William, as we wrap up here today, I'd love to end on this final question, which is simply this: what is most inspiring to you today?
Today, the most inspiring thing that I had was my daughter. My daughter got up, it's their last day of school, and she was super excited. And it was just a reminder that I need to look forward to the future like every child looks towards summer break. Just excited and optimistic and full of wonder and giddy and unsure of what to expect.
That is absolutely amazing. As having, two kids here at home, and our son just started summer break and had that exact same feeling, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, man, I remember the days when I got really excited for summer, and now it's just another day in the week. So no, I can completely get that one. So I love that. William, thank you so much for taking the time to be here and share some amazing wisdom nuggets in your process and your journey through business building, entrepreneurship, that sort of thing. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to be here today.
I appreciate it, Tanner. Thank you.